Hi, thanks for joining us. I'm Stephanie with the Women's Empowerment Network, and I'm here today with our special guest, our Monday member spotlight with grief guide and advocate, Darsi Emerson. Hi, Darsi. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well, doing
Good.
well. Happy to have you. Happy to have
Happy
this
to be here.
chat.
Yep.
Yep. I know we just saw each other a couple weeks ago, or a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
So it's great to see you again. And Darcy's coming live here in her she shed, which is a sight to behold. It is this beautiful little spot in her yard with lights and like nice, comfy, cozy New England vibes. A very cool spot.
Oh,
So,
thanks.
Darcy, yeah, there's a little bit of delay, guys. So sorry, you'll have to bear with us. So, but hopefully everything stays
Yeah,
for us.
it's weird. Well,
So, Darcy, give you guys a quick little background on Darcy. She is a podcast host, and she runs a Facebook group, both entitled "Woe to Grow." And both of these projects were born out of a tragedy that she endured in her life and a way to find some purpose. So, Darcy, why don't you tell us a bit about how you came about Woe to Grow? What was the event, the triggering event for you, and then we'll get into more about your projects.
sure. So in August of 2016, my oldest daughter passed away. She had struggles along the way over the years with addiction. Um, she um, she got very sick, and not through using or anything. She got very sick, and within a week's time she was gone, and our whole world collapsed for quite a while. And after that, I kind of fell into a heap. Obviously, most mothers who lose kids fall into big heaps for periods of time. And then eventually, and it took a long time, I did pull myself up and out and decided that, and I'll touch on the woe to grow, I was going to use my woe to grow and help other people.
Thank you for
That's
sharing that.
just a little bit. Yeah.
Yep. So I believe it was when did you first start the Facebook group? Refresh my memory. I feel like it was about a year ago. Was it more than that?
It was in January.
Was it
So
2?
yeah,
Wow.
it's over.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Time goes so
And
fast.
I know. And that all came from, do you want me to tell
Absolutely. Yeah. Why don't we
you?
dive right in and talk about what
Okay.
this Facebook group?
So I work in mental health in an office with a lovely elderly, and I'm going to say elderly. He doesn't seem elderly. I think Stephanie met him once. He
Mhm.
is an MD psychiatrist, and his patients would leave the office. I would roll my eyes saying, well, I don't know. And then one day I went into his office, and I was having a bad day. This was after my daughter passed. And he said to me, I think it's time you start using your woe to grow. And I still thought it was kind of silly, And then he continued to stick behind me, and always had the kindest words and checked on me constantly. And then one day I thought, I'm going to do something with this. I'm going to do something with my grief. And that's where this all stemmed from. I think I contacted Stephanie and said, I don't know how the hell I'm going to do this. I don't know what to do. And she said, you do it, go for it. Just would love for you that you're doing this. So I contacted the doctor, and he said, absolutely, use that woe to grow. And that's where that came from. So I named it Woe to Grow. And here we are.
That's
Helping
great.
to heal and grieve, and all kinds of things on my
Mhm.
group, all kinds of things happening.
Right. So it is a Facebook group. So, and we'll be sharing the links for anyone that wants to join. It's predominantly women. There are some men in there, but it is predominantly women. So, Darcy, how do you feel about how you're able to bring your experiences into that group, and what do you feel that your role is there?
People, I always encourage people to reach out to me for whatever the reason may be. And it feels good to be able to do that. I have avenues that I can go to, and because I have been in mental health for a long time, I have access to different agencies and advocates and people that I can, I have domestic violence, different things, and needing to get out, that kind of thing. And I can't get you out, but I can put you in contact with people who can help you. Or there's so many people who are grieving for different reasons. It's not not just child loss, but you lose your job, you need connections, and try to connect people with the right resources now to help someone else along the way. Did that answer your question?
It did. And I think that's a great example of, how the different our personal experiences that, we can take those and put them together into something that is then, bigger than ourselves and able to help other people, which is, really exactly what you've done here.
Yeah.
So when you are having people reach out to you, what's one of the first things that you try to talk to them about? Is there something when people come to you for advice, no matter what it might be, what do you feel like maybe is like one piece of advice that your situation has helped you get a clarity around?
I feel like the majority of people that reach out are, I've had people reach out that have within the hour of a loss. They had just lost a family member, and they're reaching out to me, not knowing where to turn, what to do, and that's okay. I mean, who knows what to do, especially when there are people who haven't been through a lot of loss, and if you can believe that. But most people, I do think, that are in the group have had some sort of loss. But I recently had a woman reach out to me, and she had just lost her brother, and she was reaching out to me, and I thought, holy, here I am, I'm doing something. I guess that was my feeling. It was a good feeling. Felt bad, but a good feeling to be able to know that there I am, and I'm helping her through the worst hour, and so if I can do, I had a lot of support when my daughter passed, a lot of support. And I don't know anyone who, I continually have support. And I guess I just want to give back. I just want to help people. And maybe it's getting sickening now. Again, if that answers the question, I went off there for a minute.
It did. It did. So what do you feel like is one of your biggest challenges once, whether it's when someone comes to you with something, or, what are one of the things that you find that?
I have had several people reach out over the last year and almost 2 years that were in a domestic situation. And there comes a time when you can only, Jess was in a terrible domestic situation, as well as her struggles with addiction. And that is, I think, worst case scenario for me, because you're trying to help someone if they're not ready. And if they're not ready, all that you're doing falls to the wayside until they decide, or somehow they're ready. I mean, I've had a woman contact me, backpack ready to go, kids, everything, and then decided not to go. And to me, that is the most heartbreaking scenario to deal with. I'm not going to not do it. I'm going to do what I can to help. So take heed on that. I will be there if you need me. But I can only do so much. I'm not you can reach out and I can put you in contact with people and all that, but I can't. If I find that, and again, this is off the subject a little bit, but if I find that something is too serious, we are mandated reporters to a point.
Mhm.
And if I feel like I have a situation completely off the topic of domestic violence, something very different, and I had to do you have
Yeah.
to do a well check. You have to just do what you do. And I think a lot of people, big deal. It's a huge deal. There are people reaching out all the time. So,
Right. And that's a lot of responsibility
yeah.
that a
Yeah.
lot of people don't really want to take on. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
I
that
didn't realize it at first, but yeah, I'm in it for the long haul.
So as far as, connections and resources, do you have specific, connections and resources that you're working with now? I know I wanted to get into, if it's relevant right now, about getting into some of your fundraising efforts. What are some of the organizations that you currently work with?
The agency I work with, I have referred people. It's kind of a fine line, and there are therapists I know that are in private practice that I will refer if it fits. I love to have a good fit for someone who's struggling. It's great when you think, oh, wow, so and so would be great for this person. Um,
Mhm.
I'm learning a lot about Alternative House because that's who my daughter, after she passed, I still, if you can believe it, have a house phone. And after she passed, I had messages, and I never even look at that phone, but I had messages from condolence messages from several organizations. And I think I tucked that in the back of my head, and going through the grieving process, whatever you forget about stuff like that. But my father had left a message on my machine, and I went to listen to it, and I remembered those messages for some reason. And so she had reached out to them during her struggles, and I think that brought me back to House of Hope and Alternative House. But I think House of Hope has more help than I thought. Not that they don't need help. Alternative House is my baby, if you want to say.
Mhm.
All my efforts at this point are going towards them. They're a wonderful organization, and other than that, I mean, as far as resources, I have a list
Mhm.
that I don't publish. I think I've done it a couple times, but I have a list of that if someone were to message me, I would choose what would be their best option and send it
Mhm.
to them.
Mhm. Now, Alternative House, can you tell us a little bit more about what it is, where they are, what they do?
They're in Lowell. They're
Mhm.
actually they're currently moving. I think they're moving on December 8th. And yeah, because I have everything either there or not there between the move. And they graciously came and picked everything up, actually. Um, and I'm sorry, I got off the topic.
That's
Again.
right. Yeah, just what was wondering, so who exactly does Alternative House service? What kind, so are they a halfway house? Can you tell us a little bit about?
It's they provide services for shelter and homelessness
Mhm.
and um, people who are going back out in the workforce that need to get dressed to go to a job. There were people who donated clothes, and there were outfits for people to go out on a job interview.
Mhm.
They provide diapers and wipes and housing and food. Yeah, they take food. I didn't get into it. Was more stuff for winter and sheets and a lot of these people. There are families. There are women. I think the majority of women though. They're going with you know they're just going with what's on their backs
Mm.
and maybe a backpack, and it's tough. And you know I I am finding out more. Like I said, I threw myself into this when I had the messages on the machine, and once I was ready to do something, I knew that I kept
Mhm.
that for a reason, and that's why I used alternative. That's why I went, with Alternative House. I'm not saying that it's something else for someone else, but um,
Mhm.
it meant a lot to be able to give back. My voice cracks when I say it. It did. It meant a lot.
That's okay. So now you had mentioned donations. So you recently held a clothing / fundraising drive for Alternative House a couple weeks ago at your home. Can you talk about the first one that you had? You had your very first fundraising event at your home this past summer.
Right. So when I decided, August has always, been a tough month. We lost her in August, and I thought to myself, this year I'm going to do something positive in August. I usually we try to do something in her memory every year, but this year I said I'm going to do something different. So I went to my pants and invited people I knew, and I originally thought I wanted to have a foundation up and running, that kind of thing, and then I spoke to my lawyer. And he said, just go with it this time, see where you fall. Hopefully you don't fall and it goes well, and then we'll take it from there. So it went really well. It was all donations from lovely people, checks, cash, you name it. And it was, I sent everything off. Her name is Susan Murray from Alternative House. She received everything, and, I guess a lot of people don't do these types of things, but I'm glad I did. And that pushed me to do something in November, which I know it was close, and a lot of people maybe thought, why is she doing this again? But the outcome was unbelievable of the clothing and the donations that were sent to Alternative House, along with, some people didn't want to shop, some people didn't know what to get, so there was monetary donations as well.
And sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask now, do you have an idea of exactly how much, in terms of, I know there was a lot of clothing, et cetera, that was donated, but how much do you think fundraising have you done as far as cash donations since the start of this? I know the count after the first event was over $6,000, and I know, so I was ballparking saying almost $10,000 in cash and
and I don't know because I know people wanted to do this in her name, in memory of, when they did it online. There were a lot of people who donated online after the fact, and because it's not a foundation right now, I am trying to still push my friend, my attorney, to go that way, and he keeps saying, I think this, now that I've done this, I think maybe we'll go forward a little bit more with that. But the online piece of it, between August and now, I'm not sure the exact amount because I don't really know everyone that participated. But I would say you're probably right. It's probably I would say about 8,500 to 9,000. I don't think I'm up to 10. Yeah.
So, I mean, just think, just from August until the end of November. I mean, that's a pretty significant.
From August went to House of Hope. Because I picked both, and then the November one I chose for reasons I don't know. I just thought that they
maybe needed it more.
I think I needed it more. I needed it as well. I needed to stick with that. So yeah, everything this time went to Alternative House.
That's great. So if you were
the clothes, all that stuff, and the money.
And as you said, they pretty much they exclusively service women and children. Is that correct?
No, I do believe it's families as well.
Oh, family. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, I'm still learning. I mean, it's a learning curve, but most everything that was donated, I think, were items for women and children. Yeah. Comforters, sheets, you name it, cleaning supply. I mean, it's crazy.
And those were, now, as far as, organizations, Alternative House and others like it, what are the things that people are looking for? Just so, our listeners can kind of get an idea of what kinds of things these organizations actually need.
Twin sheets, twin comforters, coloring books, crayons, backpacks, socks, hats, gloves, especially, obviously, we're getting cold. It's cold. Diapers, wipes, feminine products, blankets, jackets. Someone brought 2 heavy coats, for women, 2 women's really nice coats, jackets, interview clothes.
Wow,
people get out there, and the food part of it, I'm really not clear. I would have to talk to Susan about that, but she's awesome. She's a contact person at Alternative House.
Mhm.
She's an admin. She came here, filled up her SUV twice with stuff that Monday and Tuesday after the fundraiser, graciously came. Alternativehouse.org, click on donate, and there's an Amazon wish list with all
Oh, wow.
kinds of
Okay.
items that.
That's great. Good to know.
I think I just said most of them. I think pots and pans, stuff like that too. Everything right
Yeah.
now to be new because of COVID.
Oh, right. That's true. That must have been a big impact because I know a lot of those places could take used items in the past. So as far as, so now here you are, you have, 2 years into your podcast in your group. You're, not even 6 months into your fundraising efforts. What do you think? What do you see on the horizon for 2023 with all you've accomplished in a really short period of time? What are you looking to achieve in 2023?
Bigger is better. The group, for whoever's listening, or recommend someone, if you know anyone who doesn't really know how to deal with it or what to do with their grief and their healing. I'm not preaching from a soapbox or anything like that. It's just I may throw something out there this way, a little bloop I see on Instagram, or Stephanie may throw something up there. There are people who I'd like, if you want to join. It's not for everyone. I always say that. There are people, I see the numbers, I know that what the number is today, and then I see that I've lost a couple because it's not for everyone. And it's what you say stays with us. There is an anonymous button that you can post anonymously, and or message me, that kind of thing. But I do see things staying the same, but getting, as far as the fundraising piece of it, I love doing that. I'd like to be able to do it somewhere other than it would go. So I had to kind of take it and run with it. And then I think would be good to maybe sell tickets this time and have a little more entertainment, that kind of thing. And food. The food is always good.
But food's outstanding, yeah.
But I think I'd like to see us grow, and I also think more participation. It's difficult for people to put their feelings out there. It's really hard for. Every now and then there's someone that I think, wow, this is awesome. They've responded, and I know that I'm getting, like I said at the beginning, if I just am helping that one person.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm happy with that. It's not, especially this time of year, or thinking you can't say how you feel. Right. We're a different ear. We're not your husband, your sister, your therapist. We are people who know that you're having that shitty day, and
right.
And I always say it's like a cha-cha: one step forward, one step back, and then it sounds kind of corny, but
it's not. No, it's perfect, and I think that helps people. I think giving them something that they can continuously refer back to. It's one step forward. People need that. I think when we're so overwhelmed that you get lost in all this advice, and having a nice little thing to bring your mind back to is helpful. What is something for you, if you could go back, you're as far along in your journey as you are right now. If you could go back in time to the beginning of your journey, knowing what you know, is there anything you would do differently? Or is there anything that you wish you could have told, you could tell yourself, if you could go back and say, here's a different way to do it, or here's something that would be helpful?
I think there wasn't, no one was here, and I said I need to just do nothing, absolutely do nothing, and take it slow. This was just a few weeks after, and that wasn't for me. I couldn't I couldn't do it. I couldn't. People were saying you need to, you need to do this, you need to do that. So that made me think, yeah, you need to take it easy. You need to slow down. I honestly, her service was on a Friday. I went back to work on Monday, and what better place could I have been in? I worked in mental health.
Right. So we do have a question here from Jessica.
I was in the best place, I figured. And then, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's all right. There's a little bit of a delay. So Jessica had a question she wanted, which I think we've already answered, but do you want run this through the office or as a foundation, which you had said right now?
This has nothing to do with the mental health agency. I still dabble with them. This isn't something that's my full-time anymore. They're lovely. They've been so good to me, but no. And or a foundation, as I said, I've looked into doing that foundation. I'm still on the fence. Maybe I'm trying to figure out how to do that. And like I said, I've spoken to my attorney and all that, and he said let's sit on it. And now I've sat on it twice. I've had 2 fundraisers and they've gone well. So I'd like to do something different. And if it's a tax ID that we need or whatever, we'll whatever I need to do, I'm on board. Yeah,
that's great.
But not from my office. Not from that office, no. Right from my she shed, not from my office.
Right out of the right. She's running straight out of the she shed. Jessica, the she shed is a dream. Having been there, it is lovely. Like I said, you could do. You should do as
not when your son is here watching football. No, she shouldn't.
I was just thinking you should do photo shoots in there, like holiday photo shoots to benefit the alternative house. That might be something fun,
Oh, that's a good idea. Wow, that's a really good idea. Yeah,
I mean, it is. It looks like it's like a Hallmark Channel like set. I mean, it's unreal. I mean, it
looks pretty good right now. We need a little snow for that, but
that would be.
They take pictures. I'm sure they'll take pictures of her out front in the.
That'll be your next thing. Your next fundraiser is holiday photos in the she shed.
Fall
and with that fire behind. Yeah.
Oh, it's not the real one, but it'll do for now.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great little spot. So I asked you the back in time question, which I always love to ask, and then we'll start wrapping it up with this question here. So I think that for any of us that are going to pursue these, what I like to call audacious goals, right? Things that maybe other people don't understand. We tend to have a lot of fear around it, right? Because we're not really sure like what people are going to say, how it's going to be received, because in our minds, it's audacious, like a big audacious goal. And I feel like that there needs to be some kind of juice that helps propel you forward, that passion, because when you have that, and typically I think with all of us, we've met with a lot of resistance. It's maybe not a good idea, and maybe you should hold off, or that's too much. Are you sure you can handle it? Well-meaning people saying these things. But I think that there's a part of that, right? It is the bigness of the goal that helps almost make it easier, because it's just so big. It's like, I'm just going to push forward because it's almost like, and that's where I talk about I
don't know what's going on behind me now. The fire.
Here goes the fire. That it gives us almost a sense of awe, that, and that sense of awe is what, kind of allows us to be like, something bigger than ourselves. So what is that for you? If you could maybe, sum it up, is there, what is it that you feel that gives you that sense of purpose, or gives you that sense of awe, that you're willing to push against some opposition and push against maybe, people saying, oh, that's too much?
I had the pushback for this last fundraiser on the 19th. It was kind of even people close to me saying, why are you doing it again so soon? And I thought, are you kidding me? It's cold out. This that need chapstick because their lips are chapped. They're at school, and there's kids out there that don't have gloves. And no one's putting the gloves in their backpack because they don't have the money to do it. And I think when the push of me not doing it pushed me to want to do it more. I finally said, you know what? No, I'm going forward with this. And I contacted Alternative House and let them know I was doing it. But the push is my, you know, Jess, my late daughter, she would be all over this. And, you know, I do it for myself, but I do it for her. And I mean, what more is there that giving back can be so healthy? I mean, it's helped me just since August. You know, I could be on the couch, like I said earlier to Stephanie, I could be sitting on the couch, you know, doing absolutely nothing, which is fine. If that's what you can do, that's fine. But I don't want to do that. I want to do whatever I can. And it is her, you know, she's pushing me. I just Christmas decorating and stuff, you know, I can hear her, feel her kicking my ass to do what I need to do. And she always loved it. I do it for all my kids, but I mean, she's not here, they're here. But we never know what tomorrow brings either. But I do it for her.
That's great. That's great. Thank you, Darsi. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing all of your information. So for any of you, we're going to be, you know, putting all the relevant links as usual. If you want to contact Darsi, if you want to join her group, if you want to find out more about Alternative House in Lowell, and also, you know, even if anyone wants to reach out to either Darsi or myself, if you're interested in maybe getting on the list for the next fundraiser, I can attest, having attended both, that they are quite something. Darsi puts on a very nice, I mean, it's a really very, very nice events with entertainment and fabulous food and music, you know, live music. The summer event, you know, we were out in her yard in tents with this beautiful spread of food and entertainment. The winter one, the one they just had, they had a nice big fire and, you know, hot cocoa, and it was just,
and it was cold.
It was cold. It was freezing.
Everyone showed up.
Everyone showed up. Everyone showed up. It's a great time. I mean, it really is. And it's for a good cause. And that's what counts. So thank you again, Darsi. I do appreciate your time today.